Welcome back to Andertons TV, everybody. Today we're unboxing a couple of limited edition amplifiers from my friends and colleagues at Victory Amplifier.
I'm comfortable here.
2024. Not only is it Anderton's 60th anniversary, right? Believe it or not, it's the 100th anniversary of Celestion, that great
insane.
British speaker manufacturer.
Did they make...
I'm going to tell you, so there's a beautiful little backstory brochure with these 100th anniversary Celestion speakers. I didn't realise this. So, the first speaker they invented to go in a radio was in 1936. Sorry, that was the G12. So you know the classic
the G12.
G12? That was invented in 1936 to go in a radio. How amazing is that?
Yeah, that is amazing.
And then, you know, I guess where they began to become really famous with guitar players was in 1959. Their chief engineer, Les Ward, created like a toughened version of it to go into some of the Vox amplifiers. And that was obviously where, I guess, our obsession with the sort of Alnico Blue speaker that's in the Vox that sort of became.
What was his name? Celestion, was it?
Les Ward was the...
where does Celestion come from then?
Oh, I see.
I mean,
it's got to be something celestial, hasn't it? Like from heaven.
They were all like that back then when the telecast, it was all like something with TVs and stuff.
Yeah,
but
again, perhaps we'll put on screen now, or we'll put in the links below where you can go and find some technical information about the Celestion 100th anniversary Alnico speaker.
Is that a limited thing?
It's limited, yeah, it's obviously a 2024 thing. I must admit, I'm excited about this because the only other product that I've seen this speaker in was the Marshall JTM Studio limited edition thing. And that sold out before they even arrived. So
really?
they just arrived at the warehouse, all went to and so I never even saw one, let alone heard one.
Right.
I saw a picture of one.
I mean, I haven't heard these, but I'm excited about this.
Let's open up. Victory have done two combos basically loaded with this Celestion speaker. One of the combos has been done before, i.e. the Sheriff combo does exist already, but it has a limited edition finish and obviously the speaker. The other combo is a brand new one. So the other combo, which it looks like I've got here, is a combo format of the Deputy.
Yay! I'm so excited about hearing that because I'm excited about hearing the speaker and in a combo version as well. Oh, hang on, what does that say here? It says, please like and subscribe.
So mine says the same. It says if every 10,000 new subscribers, we're giving away pedals.
Incredible. How do they know that stuff? How do they know that stuff?
Here it comes, mine's back to front. I'm going to turn it around so you get to see the front.
I like the back first.
I got the Deputy. I shot the Sheriff. Oh, comes with a nice, nice cover. Little manual.
You open it up first. Go on.
I will. So Deputy, if you're not, was an amplifier that Pete kind of collaborated with Martin to design.
The missing link in the Victory range. I thought.
Yeah. So the Sheriff is perhaps a nod towards some of the slightly that era of British Marshall amplifiers that went a little bit gainier, so maybe from sort of 70s and 80s, whereas the Deputy is more of a nod to the earlier,
further back,
sort of 60s sort of thing. But I must admit,
45 and that.
I'm going to completely destroy the pack. This better go on display in the shop, hadn't it? Because I'm going to completely destroy all the...
Yeah, I'm just looking at that going, I remember the first time I had to take... It's like taking...
You can't say that, can you?
Well, you can say that. You could beep it out.
Okay.
Look at that thing, though, right? That looks great.
Pretty. That is pretty. It looks like it's got a foot switch in the back. Look at that speaker. It looks great. Oh, that's clever.
That's cool.
Every single speaker is just serial number 100, because I guess that's the 100th anniversary. But the amps themselves, there's only 50 of each of these. Oh my goodness me! Look at that. We've got number 2.
But you know, I can't wait anymore.
So there's a little badge on the front of each one that'll tell you what number of 50 it is. Oh, I like it in the silver.
Yeah. I couldn't wait anymore.
The Jubilee thing.
Yeah, exactly.
In terms of the actual amplifiers themselves, they are the same features and spec of whatever the amp would be if you bought the head version.
May I have the scissors, please?
Of course you may. So these are...
You never hand scissors like that. You always go like this back. Look.
Not to me. I don't
no,
see you. I'm
again,
always
here
hoping
I go
that you'll
with
fall on them and stab yourself.
Please run with these.
That's smart. It's got little kind of... Obviously on the back of the combo you got quite a lot of inputs and outputs tucked underneath here, but there's a nice clear panel shows you what everything is.
That.
Look, it says there's a little Danish helmet here.
Helmut. Oh, there is.
Yeah, it is.
That's cool.
That's
smart. This color, man. Look at this.
I like the leather corners.
Yeah, leather corners is good.
Anyway, yeah, let's have a look. What have they used as a grill on the front of that one? Oh, nice.
Oh, the same. Is that the same grill? It's like a salt and pepper?
Yeah.
Salt and pepper's here.
I like, that looks great in the silver, doesn't it?
It does. The Silver Jubilee, absolutely.
Okay, well, we will plug these in, mic them up, and give them a spin. Well, this is another. Actually, it's quite a good video. I think in all the time with the deputy's been out, we've never really done a side-by-side deputy versus sheriff video. So, I think what you're definitely hearing and feeling in the room is those Celestion Alnico speakers.
Yeah.
And I know your favourite is the gold, isn't it? There's a blue, a gold, and a cream, and it kind of goes from like the blue being the lowest wattage, gold in the middle, cream the highest power. And we use a lot of the cream Alnicos in the really expensive Victory stuff, like the MK stuff. The blue is a great sounding speaker. And actually I think the silver is probably, it sits somewhere between the blue and the gold in terms of its power handling.
It's like 30 watts, isn't it?
Yeah, so it's enough for these amplifiers, because these are like, 20, 25 watt amplifiers. Mm-hmm. Maybe unless you had two of the 100th anniversary Celestion speakers, you might struggle if you're using it with a 50 watt. But that's why we use the gold more typically in other Victory amplifiers. But yeah, that Alnico just has a bass end and a vibe to it that the ceramic, the things like the cheaper things like vintage 30s and creambacks, which are great sounding speakers as well. They just haven't quite got that.
I think for that clean sound, that these two, as you can hear already, that's so much cleaner than this amp is, and it just brings out that beautiful clean low end and thing that comes out of the Deputy amp. Wasn't there a red back as well at some point. I think they did like a red version of them all, and they got discontinued. There's a red, a blue,
in the Alnico?
a white. Yeah, because I've got one upstairs.
Oh wow!
And a blue and a
yeah. I don't remember. It's certainly
lots of those.
I don't know why. Bizarrely, the blue back I love.
Yeah.
It's part of that Vox sound that you just can't get away from. The gold was my favourite. The cream is the higher power version, but I sometimes think with really high power speakers, unless you're driving they're almost worse sounding.
They need to be used as well. It takes a little while for them to warm into themselves.
Isn't that interesting as well? Just that very bright sound that a brand new speaker sometimes has does go away after a few hundred hours, you know, and
I always leave my amps on and just let the power ring through them.
Well, look, let's just very quickly, again, there's probably there's a million videos of Pete playing the Deputy.
Yeah.
So in terms of features,
at least a million.
I decided on this that I wouldn't plug my pedal board in, so all I've put is a little Protein, Brown Amplification Protein on the floor, which is like a blues breaker and a Nobles, I think, style in one, isn't it? But I got the master at 12 o'clock. This is a 20 watt amplifier, so you know, master at half or above is very much you could gig with that, or you know, little rehearsals and stuff. But of course, if I took the master down to, you know, a quarter of the way up, it becomes quite a usable amp at home.
For home.
Reverb just under half, bass just beyond 12, and middle and treble just beneath. I'm actually using this in voice 3, which is its most gainy voice, but with the gain down. Yeah. I like that with a single coil pickup. Because I always feel the point of this type of amplifier, you know, well, not the point, but my favourite thing of it is with all those like early Marshalls, is you want that edge of breakup. You don't want it like Fender clean, you want it Marshall clean, you know, so you've got that. So if you pick soft, it's pretty clean. And then there's just a little bit.
A little bit of hair on it.
I've got another guitar with me with humbuckers on it. I mean, so if I put this into voice 1, it's pretty subtle, but it'll clean up. And then even if I dig in, it stays pretty clean. And then there's a middle position there as well. So if I take the gain, I've got the bright switch off as well, because this is a bright guitar. If I put the gain about halfway, you know, it becomes a bit. It's still a very organic, traditional sounding.
So
that's in voice 1. So if I go back to voice 3 now, so we got some gain.
That's a low end.
It's not gain in the sense of modern amp gain.
No.
It's vintage amp gain, isn't it? Pedal-wise, I had a Protein on the floor, which does a little blues breaker kind of. Woo! Now all I'm doing there is I'm dumping a small amount of gain from the pedal into the small amount of gain from the amp.
I would take some low end out of that at the moment, so you can hear that low end in there.
It's really booming, isn't it?
Wow.
Like that, but. But that's what this amp does. Let me just quickly whiz over to something with humbuckers. It has, but I have to say again, you know, thanks to Pete for sort of almost spotting at the beginning or the end of last year that there was a gap between the sort of Duchess, very clean sort of vibe, and where the Sheriff had gone. There was a gap for a sort of a lower gain, something in between. And also as well,
which you'll hear when we get to this in a minute.
You know, people love the simplicity, I think, of the Deputy, because it's a set and forget kind of amplifier. There's no channel switching. You find the voice you like.
It reflects me, man. That's what it is. Super simple.
Anyway, let's see. What have we got?
Have you been doing that?
What was I last doing on this guitar?
10 seconds later.
That's no pedal. That's voice 3 with the gain halfway up and just a higher output humbucker. This what is it called? Don't push this away as a non-gainy amp just because
sure.
I play it. A lot of people plug into that like
it's
go
a rock
on
and roll
voice 3 and then turn the gain up.
Yeah.
About 12 o'clock, it'll take your head off. Voice 2.
And it's like a solid AC/DC.
I mean, again, no, but I almost wish I hadn't even bothered to plug the pedal in at all. It's just such a good...
I mean, all the chucking as well, and does it gen? Yeah, I think it gens that amp. If you turn the reverb off and just
I'll take the reverb down. This is 3/4 of the gain on voice 3. I mean, that is much higher gain than you would ever really get. But yeah, I can equally bring this back down to similar tones that I had at the beginning, you know, just edge of breakup.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, that is, I suppose...
The speaker sounds good with that amp.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Look, that's enough
wonderful.
Of that. So that is there's 50 of those to sell. Obviously not just Andertons selling them. They'll be available hopefully in your country.
I think I saw 4 here.
Yeah, I think we've got 4 of each, I think. So anyway, so that's the Deputy. We'll swap as well at the end. Pete will play a little bit when we jam out at the end. But I'm really interested to hear the Sheriff because I've heard this with the
Gold.
Alnico Gold before.
Yeah.
I've never heard this with the...
What does that come with? Is that a
That would be a creamback, a normal Celestion creamback.
Right, the medium one?
Mm-hmm.
Or the... Okay.
The medium one, yeah. What Pete and I are talking about is what does the Sheriff combo normally come with?
Yes,
This one is the limited one with the 100th anniversary.
This looks really
Celestion.
good in silver.
Doesn't it?
Is that a coincidence that it's a silver?
I had nothing to do with literally. I knew they were coming. I didn't have anything to do with what colours were chosen or anything.
I had no idea.
Yeah. So let's have a little listen.
Yeah. So let's have a little listen. So this is. It's got more in it.
It's 2 channels.
It's got 2 channels. It's got presence. It's got It's got 2 gain, 1 gain for each channel, a master for each channel. So you get a lot more in it. Mm-hmm. For me, that's almost too much already. 2 masters, switch off.
It's a proper usable 2-channel amplifier, isn't it?
Exactly. Where you set one and then the other one is a bit more...
I like the fact that it's got 2 master volumes because quite often you don't just want to go from a low gain to a high gain sound at the same volume. You know, you want to have a rhythm sound at one volume and then a lead sound at another.
And I think you can get lower gain out of the second channel as well.
Sure.
This is I've got a reverb in the effects loop because both of these have effects loops, right?
And there's reverb built into this, but not into this.
Yeah. So, and of course I'm playing this pool with a bit heavier, harder pickups in it. So. That's great, isn't it? I'll turn the reverb off.
I love the timeline. You can really hear that British rock sound as it's gone. You know, there is some crossover here, but this is like 60s through 70s. This is 70s through maybe 80s into 90s.
And that's always JMGM 45. That kind of, and the Fender, which was very sort of very similar amp. It's always been my favourite type amp because it just breaks up. This one you can play clean. Still got all of that stuff underneath it, right? Sounds great, and that is just me running the vintage gain on about 12 o'clock and the master at about 11 o'clock. just the reverb in the effects.
Can I just
no
point
pedals
out
at all.
another nice little thing? This is a very, aimed at gigging guitar players or players that want to stand in front of their amplifiers. The baffle is angled backwards. So although the cabinet itself is straight, the baffle is angled backwards, so it's projecting the speaker upwards slightly. So it's designed so that when you're standing, like 3 or 4 feet in front of it, you actually can hear the amp rather than your knees hearing it.
That's a great idea. I like to look at them.
All the cabinets and everything in the Victory range do that.
And this is all pine, which I really like.
Pine.
And it's funny, people talk about guitar and wood making a difference. It makes a difference in cabinetry as well, in my opinion.
It's
it really
hard
does.
to hear.
It really
in
does.
fact, arguably inaudible when you're close miking. But in a room, a pine cabinet 100% sounds different to like a birch ply or whatever. That's whether you prefer it or not. I mean, there's loads of great cabinets that are made of other things, but the story behind that as well. Boring. Way back in Martin Kidd's days when he was at Cornford, the tiny company, literally just Martin and Paul. They used a furniture manufacturer that was in the same town as them to build the cabinets, and the furniture manufacturer specialised in pine furniture, so all the cabinets were made of pine. And then I don't even think they realised, but when they started to build in a bigger factory and they used more conventional techniques and using birch and stuff like that, they just went, I don't think the cabinets sound as good anymore, and it was that. They went back. So they said to the factory, no, you got to use pine. So that's
can I ask you a question? And to you guys out there, when you do an IR of a speaker in a cabinet, do you actually IR? Do you even get the cabinet with it?
Well, this is the problem.
If you do an IR of a speaker, are you not close miking it up? Are you hearing the cabinetry on an IR?
I think you can make IRs as complicated as you want. Most people will close mic a cabinet and do the IR.
So you won't really hear the speaker cabinet. But you do see some
of those IRs where they've got a room mic and a mic behind, and there probably is some essence of it.
But you don't want it too roomy, though, do you?
I would have said not too room, as in. So I don't.
That's just interesting. Maybe people should do that.
And I have heard, in all fairness to other people, I've heard people sometimes say, particularly I think on 4x12s, that they prefer the rigidity of the birch ply cabinets, and they like the sound. So I'm not necessarily saying one is always better than the other. The pine vibrates more, which gives it a characteristic. But anyway.
Turn it down a bit. Great, man.
Great. You've got to learn what the 4 knobs on a Les Paul do if you're going to own a Les Paul. There's so much more in there than just everything else on 10.
Just as Joe B.
Joe B!
Joe B. So
what are we going
to
to the Hot Rod channel?
So now this is channel 2, so... much more plexi.
And this is Martin's take on all the classic hot rodded Marshalls that were made in the sort of late 70s and 80s.
I can't believe I set all this up just for the flint in the infection.
Well, I did think we probably wouldn't use pedals. Do you know what's interesting?
I'm just going to flick back.
And I've never liked...
Me?
I've never liked Marshall-y sounding guitar amplifiers in 1x12 enclosures. I've always felt that Marshall needs to be either into a foot, a half stack or something like that. And I wonder if that's just a speaker thing, because that
sounds great. That speaker.
Alnico speaker has got so much more bass end in it than say a Vintage 30 or something like that. That maybe it does work in that open back slightly. So I mean, it's not a small 1x12. It's what's called a wide body 112.
I like it, man.
I think it sounds great.
Yeah.
I mean, can we hear maybe some Telecastery stuff?
Yeah.
Well?
Yeah. Yes, Hanson Gold. Do you want to hear a little bit of overdrive in there, maybe like a
try it with the pedal. Compare that, because I always think it's another good demo here. I always feel overdrive pedals I love because for me they have a slightly more controlled, smoother top end on them.
Yeah.
But then I was talking to Pete about this the other day, just going, every so often I just think, shall I just go back to just using a 2-channel amplifier, and instead of using drive pedals, just use the drive channel, because it has a different, well, you'll hear, it's got it's got a more alive top end,
A bit of a drive. I think it's just more. It's louder for one, but I'm not. I mean, that's. I think I prefer the pedal on top of it. You know what I mean? And I can do all because I have 20 pedals on my board, and I can get all these little nuances. But for recording, yes, absolutely, 100%. But that's just me. That's why I asked for this one, right?
So there you go. 50 of each available worldwide. I don't know who's got what serial numbers. I promise I didn't pull a favour there and try and get the low ones or anything like that. So total coincidence that we happen to have number 2 of each. But whatever, I don't know what the other serial numbers are.
So 100 in total, 50 of these. Is that how it goes?
50 of those, 50 of those.
Yeah, okay.
And like I said, at some point, I assume this year or early next year or whatever, Celestion will stop making the 100th anniversary speaker as well. So obviously you've got a limited window to get...
100 years, man, of making speakers.
Yeah,
I don't know what they're doing, right?
It's mad, that, isn't it?
It is mad.
Makes me feel old. When I was young, a speaker was a relatively modern invention. Now it's like 100 years old.
I think you like smoke signals or like a pigeon.
Anyway, right, let's swap. I think it's probably easier either if Pete just swaps seats or we'll just listen to the guitars either side or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, you play out with the Deputy.
Right.
I'll play out with the Sheriff. Links will be below for more technical spec. The website's got lots of close-up photos of these as well.
Yeah, and Celestion's website has got a really nice
piece about Les Ward and the history of the speaker.
speakers.
Looks great.
Awesome.
All right, cheers guys. Catch you later. Bye-bye.